Ohio State coming to town. They haven't been here for a couple of years, but good to see old friend Tom Ryan and pretty competitive Buckeye squad coming to town.
They are fired up, I'm sure. Tom Ryan, as far as colleagues go, definitely one of my favorites, for sure. We got to be ready.
How advantageous is it to have a team like Ohio State ahead of the Penn State duel so guys aren't looking ahead at all, just having a worthy opponent, the Buckeyes?
I think the way that you're wired as a top flight competitor, I think you keep that in perspective anyway. But it is, maybe tough to stray when you're maybe not tested like maybe Ohio State can test us. But we're in the Big Ten now, so we're going to get everybody's best shot, and we got to be ready to go.
Gabe Arnold has talked about how he likes to put on a show on the mat. He seems like a really energetic and kind of fun individual. How is he off the mat, or what's his personality like maybe away from wrestling?
He's the same and maybe even better. And what I mean by that is when you put him in front of fans or you ask him to do like a thankathon, or you ask him to do something that's community service driven, he is the best. And don't take my word for that. That is coming from the people that interact with him. That's coming from people that he had a blog, and a guy couldn't say enough about Gabe Arnold's personality. And that goes, I was in Paris and I needed someone to run a group of 90 people through this facility. And I called Gabe Arnold and he did it. And I got 40 compliments on him from that group. And that was a group of Iowa's best fans. And I'm not talking about Iowa wrestling's best fans. I'm talking about Iowa athletics' best fans. And it was football season. So he represents himself well, and that's a good pickup.
Does that help you as a coach to have an ambassador like that?
It doesn't help me as a coach as far as me. Here's the thing. I'm a coach that's about performance. So this doesn't make it easier for me to maybe, talk to him about performance things. It's the same either way, whether you're, blessed with people skills or not. We still got to perform. What's nice about it as a coach is you're bringing in guys that can relate and that are really, really good people. And so that impacts your locker room. That impacts your recruiting because parents see that. It's not so much even his peers, his future peers seeing that, which that's part of it. But parents see that, and they pick up on that, and they compliment that on Gabe Arnold. So that's the other side of running a program that's, very, importantly linked to the performance side. We still got to perform, though. We still got to go out and score points. So let's not make this about, we got a really good kid, but, oh, shucks, he just didn't get it done.
No.
We got a really good kid, but let's go out and whip some ass.
How does he flip that switch to get to them when it's in competition?
He's what you just said. You started the question out by saying that he is a guy that thrives in the limelight, to paraphrase you, and that's what he does. He loves the limelight. He loves to compete. He loves to put on a show. He's a showman. He's an entertainer. I mean, the guy's an entertainer. So good for him.
Last year, he said, one of the things he said was like 174, 184, I don't care, I'm a soldier, I'm going to do what Tom and Terry Brandt say. How valuable is that, having a guy also that's flexible to do whatever is needed for the team when he's talented like that? We're
going to put the best team on the mat, and that's great, and that's noble for him. But we want our individuals to succeed and be successful, and so we're going to give them their best chance. And along with that, we're going to put the best team on the mat. And, we got a little bit of a log jam there, so we'll see how it shakes out.
You do have that too at some other positions. How much do you like that as a coach to have that kind of depth and choices?
I think it's important for your team. I think it's critical. It's crucial. Health isn't, you don't take health for granted, and you got to have the next man up when it's time to have that next man up, and you want reliable people. You want reliable wrestlers.
So Ja'Cory Teamer potentially in at 157. How important is it to kind of get him rolling and get some matches in here?
I mean, we're going to not sacrifice health, but it's important if he can go. If he can't go, the most important thing is to continue to build him so he can go. And we're at that point where we've gotten to that point where he could probably go.
How has that work back been for him?
Good. You talk about a character. He's a character. It's been really good.
There's an announcement about the National Duels Invitational being in November. Have you seen that? And is that anything that kind of interests you as far as involvement goes?
I have seen it. There's been a lot of in-depth dialogue, and we are excited about it. We're very excited about it. I think there's other opportunities there as well. And as we get closer to, I guess they said that it's going to be August. I mean, I think you'll know before then, but as you get closer to August when the teams are announced, there's some things that are even above and beyond that. And that's exciting for a program, especially a program like the University of Iowa Wrestling. Especially like Iowa Wrestling.
As a former wrestler, how much would you have liked to have had opportunities like that where you could get paid and that sort of thing?
I mean, that's not why you do
Right.
it. I mean, there's just a lot of things that go through my head with that question, and the bottom line is you got to love what you do,
Sure.
No matter what you're being compensated first. You got to love it first. Mm-hmm. And when you love it, you will be successful. When you're successful, the rest falls into place. And it's always been that way. Always has been that way. It's just a little bit more lucrative now. Just a little bit more lucrative now for eligible college athletes.
One more. How important do you think the national duels would be from a promotion aspect, getting wrestling out there on a big stage like
I
that?
think you're going to have, a lot of powerful teams in there. And I think when you throw that kind of money, I think it makes people look, and it captures their imagination, and they want to do it. And this is something that's a little bit different. It's been talked about a lot. I don't think it's about whether it's the best timing. I don't think it's about whether wrestling needs this or not. What you're doing is you had a guy step up in a big way and put his money where his mouth is, and now you're going to have people, wanting to be a part of it. And I mean, what do they say? Money talks, and what else? What else walks? And money's talking right now. So awesome! It's awesome. It really is awesome.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks.
Thank you, sir.
How many pairs of wrestling shoes do you own?
That I'm allowed to wear? Nike shoes? Way too many. I got enough shoes to have a morning workout and an afternoon workout and change those pairs. So morning I'll have a different pair of shoes, afternoon I'll have a different pair of shoes. Next day rolls around, it's the same thing. So I got enough to last me through a couple weeks of just brand new shoes every time. So
But do you have that one pair that you wear for
I don't necessarily have a specific pair that I wear for a match. I mean I kind of try I don't know, I have stuff going through my head all the time. So I have specific things I want to match. I think for the Wisconsin duel I wore some customs from Wrestle Boutique a long time ago. They came out and I was well, this team's red, so I'm gonna put these on. So yeah, I don't know, I have different things that kind of go through my head about what shoes to wear, how I want to look and stuff like that. At the end of the day, it just comes down to look good, feel good, wrestle good. So that's what I live by.
How would you describe Gabe Arnold away from wrestling compared to Gabe Arnold, the wrestler?
That's a great question, actually. I mean, obviously, I try not to, be so different as I am on the mat as opposed to off the mat. I think that, I'm obviously a super outgoing person. I march to the beat of my own drum. But I think, oh, it's a great question, actually. I think more than anything, the easiest way to describe it in one word, I would say, is that, I'm a very brick by brick person. And basically what that means is, whatever gets thrown my way, I'm gonna find a way to figure it out. And last year was a very high and low year for me. And, I faced many different challenges and struggles and different forms of adversity with mental health, school, wrestling, you name it, relationships, whatever the case may be. But, I think right now I'm in a spot where, this is a brand new year and I'm proud of the growth that I have made. And, and I am still, making, and, it's definitely something that doesn't get talked about a lot, especially in college athletics. But, mental health is really important. And that's something I have come to prioritize as I've been in dark seasons of my life and have fought many demons that, don't really get talked about enough. So, I'm proud of myself for that. And, it's a battle that I fight every day. But I think I'm on the winning side of it. So,
Is that in regular day life, or is it just wrestling related, or?
it's
or
everything.
both?
It's everything. It's everything. I got everything means everything tattooed on my back. And, it's something that my dad talks about a lot. And, just, everything comes in waves and, different forms. And, it's all about how you take it, how you deal with it, and I'm learning to deal with it the healthy way. And that's, asking for help and going to therapy and, doing different things, So it's a process and it's a battle. But like I said, I think I'm on the winning side of it. So I'm proud of myself for that.
What were your kind of like, I feel like when people go through things like that, mental health, those kind of things, it's finding those outlets, right, to be able to get releases or to find things to find some inner peace. So what were those things for you when you go through something like that?
I got a great support system. I got my family out here. I got coaches who love me, and care about me as a person, not just as a wrestler. I think at the end of the day, everyone that I have in my circle, wants the best for Gabe Arnold. My parents have been a big stronghold for me, and they've always kept me at the top as best as they possibly can. I turned 20 today, it's my birthday. And so, 20 years of life and, it's been high and low, but man, without them, I don't know where the hell I'd be. So.
Is it tougher considering the sport that you're involved with that puts so much emphasis on mental toughness and being tough and just kind of gutting through things to be able to come to grips and say, hey, it's okay, I can get help,
Of course, yeah, it definitely does add a layer of like, oh, dude, sometimes I just got to get tough. But at the same time, wrestling has taught me so much off the mat. It's taught me to, there's times where you got to tough it out and, really put your head down and go to work. But there's also times where, it's the same thing. Like maybe I have a question about a move or something like that, maybe I just need someone to talk to and just to be there for me, So it's done a lot and it does put those barriers in it, but it's all about how you look at it, And for me, wrestling has done a lot for me and has always been my outlet and will continue to be my outlet, So it's all about finding what my personality is without the sport, But the sport does a lot to help me figure out that, if that makes sense.
Tom just mentioned too how much you've been a resource in just helping him with various things around the room, just being a helpful person. So last year, you're the freshman trying to break the door down to enter the lineup. You have a guy like Angelo who's in the same weight class as you trying to do that. So how have you tried to maybe help him in terms of like, that's something you've gone through trying to do something that he's trying to do it the same way?
Yeah, I think, at the beginning of the year, I think Tom said it perfectly. There's nothing wrong with competition amongst friends, and that's at the end of the day, that's all it is. I think people get so caught up in like this and that, oh, what about Angelo Ford? They're going to wrestle at Soldier Salute. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter. We're family, we're brothers, and, we're going to bang it out in this room every single day. If you really want to see it, ask Tom, and you can sit there with your phone. He probably won't let that happen, but, you can see it then, So I think it's just, people just have such a different view on it than I think, we do. Of course, there's tension. Of course, everybody wants to be the guy, but, you say you want to be the best, yet you shy away from competition when you got a guy chasing the same goal as you. I don't know about you guys, but excuse my language, but I fucking love it. It's just, it's why would you, you can't say you want to be the best and you get put in a really, really tough situation, and then you're like, I don't know if I really want this, I don't think that's really the type of person that I am. I don't think that's the type of character that, I try really hard to show, and at the end of the day, I'm all about embracing challenges, so whether that's in the room, out of the room, competition on the mat, off the mat, it doesn't matter. I'm a competitive guy, and, me and Angelo are going to help each other grow to levels that are you guys can't even think of. I can't even think of. Tom, Terry, Morningstar can't even think of, And that's all it is, we're climbing levels together, and it's not about who's going to be the guy. It's about who's the best guy that is going to go out there and put results out on the mat. And if that's not me, that's not me. But I got a good feeling that it is me, and I got a good feeling that me and Angelo have a great relationship, and no matter what happens, however the lineup shakes out, we're still going to be in each other's corner fighting for every single point, every single call, you name it. So, it's good to be surrounded by that, and there's no reason to shy away from competition. So
You seem to be somebody that thrives when the spotlight is its brightest. What's the key to kind of flip that switch and embrace those situations?
I'm just really thankful that, I'm able to do that. I'm glad you guys think that, because as a wrestler, as a competitor, and as competitive as I am, of course, that's what I try to push out and, emulate, just for all the little kids that, watch me, parents, you name it, whatever the case may be, So I think that just comes from, hell, I have a brother who's 8 years older than me. So, I'm no stranger to competition, and to shine, when mom and dad are watching and I really want to show off that, like, he did something to hurt me, I can let out a little loose cry or something like that. So yeah, I know how to perform, I know how to put on the act, that's for damn sure. But yeah, I think it just comes from, loving what I do, and, hell, we're in this however $1 million room right now. This is something to be thankful about. So, why not put on a show for you guys and all the fans and donors that donate so much to this program, that do so much for us? Why not give you guys a show? You guys, it's hard for you guys to report when I'm out there winning 1-point matches. So, hell, I got to freaking go hit a slick duck and, do all this and that. And, I got to perform. Tom talks about it all the time. It's about performing, and that's what I strive to do every single day, is perform. So.
Terry.
How much video do you watch?
Every week's match, we usually like once a week, about.
What do you get away from? What do you take away from that sometimes when you watch it?
Just like tendencies that I had during that match, maybe some that I've had throughout the whole year. But sometimes you just wrestle different in matches, and you pick on little things like, oh, why was I doing this in this situation, and just little, sometimes you nitpick yourself, but I think in the end it really helps you just dial in your wrestling.
Do you enjoy watching that? Some wrestlers kind of cringe when they're watching and see what they do afterwards. But are you somebody that likes watching the product that you put out there?
Yeah. I think if I walked off the mat knowing that I put on a good performance, then there's no cringe while watching it. But obviously, no one likes watching a match where they lost or you make a couple mistakes. But that's what makes you better, and you're not going to get better unless you realize what those mistakes were. And really like dig deep and figure out what caused them.
How fun has this season been for you? It's been a pretty dominant start. So what's kind of just like the feeling? How much fun are you kind of having right now?
Yeah, I can feel myself getting better. I can like, with the results that I've put on the mat, and just how I'm feeling in the wrestling room, how I'm feeling just practicing, and then taking the stuff that I've learned from the practice room and implementing it into my live wrestling. 'Cause that's a whole different thing as well. And yeah, I can really just show like the work that I've been putting in the practice room paying off, and it feels good.
Tom said, he said some nice things about Gabe. He's kind of a outgoing. It seems like an outgoing personality. How would you describe Gabe as a teammate and what he brings to the table for the group?
Yeah, he definitely has good energy. Definitely a guy that you want on your team. I don't know if I can say as much nice things as Tom. No, I'm joking. But yeah, no, he's a great kid. Great partner too. He loves being in the room, and he's just a great guy to go with. Gives great feels.